How we doing, everybody? Welcome to episode 13. Can't believe I've done 13 of these of Walk It Off. This is pre-recorded. I do have a job, I do have a life, I have to work. So we're going to touch on LSU baseball weekend. I hope all of you had an amazing Easter, and I hope you spent a lot of good time with your family and had some great crawfish. I was very happy to kind of disconnect yesterday just a little bit. But before we get into LSU baseball and everything going around Baton Rouge and the team at the moment, there are some pressing things we have to talk about regarding LSU in general. If you did not see today, CJF Wrights posted on X, CJ Newsweek, talking about the future of NIL revenue sharing for LSU athletics. This is coming off the heels of comments made by Jay Johnson about not getting an offer from an MLB team yet. Coming off the heels of the BS reporting of Kim Mulkey retiring, and that CJ has concluded that for the foreseeable future, LSU's 2026 NIL future is 70% football, 15% men's basketball, 10% women's basketball, and 5% for baseball, gymnastics, softball, and every other athletic program at the university. This is my request for all of you watching, and if anybody sees a clip, Heath Schroyer, Verge Osbury, President Wade Roos, Lee Mallett, and the Board of Supervisors, you're committing career suicide. LSU is a football school. Do not get me wrong. We love our football, and it's important to us. LSU is a baseball school. LSU baseball has won 8 national titles. It is the pinnacle again of college baseball due to Jay Johnson. He also found in the report, CJ did, that when asked or when commenting on the future of Jay Johnson at LSU, he was told that the school would love to have him, but would unlikely go all out in order to keep Jay Johnson as a head baseball coach. I promise you right now, they need to fix this. They need to fix it. Jay Johnson has won 2 national titles in 4 years here at LSU. He's the fastest one to win 2 titles ever in the history of college baseball. He has built this coaching staff and brought this team together, a team that we all watch has a talent, but he is coaching this team to wins, getting ejected to get this team into wins, and you're not going to support him financially. And as we talked about before last week, Jay's not looking for the moon. He's not looking for the women's full NIL budget or the men's full NIL budget. Nowhere near that. I recently heard another sports show say if you gave Jay Johnson, say, a quarterback's NIL. Now, I'm not saying take NIL from a quarterback. I'm just saying you give him that at that amount of money, Jay would be happy. Now, I've also called out to everyone, if you care about it, Jay Johnson, you care about LSU baseball, join the coaches committee because that goes directly to baseball. But Jay Johnson shouldn't be having to fight the program in this matter the way he is. He's brought this LSU baseball program back to relevancy. I love Paul Mainieri. I can't wait to see him back in Baton Rouge for the South Carolina game. I'm hoping he comes. He won a national championship in 2009 with great players, guys like Matuk, Jared Mitchell, Blake Dean, Chad Jones. Great coach. LSU fell away from the pinnacle of college baseball during that time. Jay Johnson turned it around in 2 years. Had an off year. Most programs in this country would kill for in 24, wins another national title in 25. Now, this is the reality of college athletics today. money. It was always a reality. It just wasn't in our face. NIL, TV revenue, things of that nature. Jay Johnson has earned the right to be financially supported here at LSU. And frankly, I'm getting sick and tired of him having to fight to get it. He's earned the right. In the past year, you fired Brian Kelly, you bring in Lane Kiffin. I love it. And by the way, I'm not saying LSU football needs to get a reduction in TV revenue budget. No. The only way to make money is to spend money, and football is your biggest money maker on campus. You feed that monster. You feed it. Women's basketball operated at almost an $8 million loss last year. Now, CJ also talks about in his post that they had 2 million live viewers of the Valentine's Day game. And that goes into thought processes. I don't care. Viewership aside, I don't care. If you're operating an $8 million loss, you're not going to make money. Did LSU baseball operate at a loss? Yeah, they did. But what I saw, his numbers were different in his article. I can't remember exactly what they were off the top of my head. From what I saw, they were operating at about a $985,000 loss last year. That's what they ended the year at. They also won you a national title. He's won you 2 of them. I love Kim Mulkey. I love the fact that we hired Will Wade. But I asked this question to a friend last night: is Will Wade going to be the linchpin to the downfall of it all? Did we sell our soul for basketball? I hope not. And don't get me wrong, I love having the general back in town. This is my question when it comes to putting, what did I say, 15% or 10%? 10% of the budget into women's basketball? Okay. How far are we from winning another national title in women's basketball? You can't beat South Carolina. Hate to say it, but it's true. You can't beat South Carolina. The only reason you won the national title you won, in all due respect, is because the team you beat, Iowa, did you a favor. How far are we from winning another national championship in baseball? I'd say, and I still say this today, you have a chance this year. You have the talent. Is it probable or most likely this year? No, I'll be honest. No, it's not. I still believe in those guys. I still believe they have a chance. Basketball? How far are you from winning a national title in men's basketball? Now, granted, you have to bolster that program with Will Wade back, but to the account of 3 times the funding of baseball? I don't think so. If you don't believe me, go talk to Skip Bertman or the podcast I continue to bring up to you guys, Louisiana Loaded with Will Helmers and Doug Thompson. If you're an LSU baseball fan, you care about that guy right there behind me, Skip Bertman. And he said it, LSU has to do whatever they can, wherever they have to keep Jay Johnson here. The man who made college baseball what it is today. Whether you want to believe it or not, the man who made college baseball what it is today is telling you the man who won 6 national titles at LSU. No, I'm sorry. 5 national titles at LSU. I'm giving him too much credit. He probably built the roster for Paul and Smoke. But the man who won you 5 national titles here at LSU, then became the athletic director, is still influencing the program, and still getting recruits to come to the school and play for even Jay Johnson. You're telling me that Skip, the guy who walks up to a recruit and goes, "Hey, big guy," and he puts his paws on him, as Ronnie Rance likes to call it. his opinion doesn't matter now. What? Because he's old? That's wisdom. He's giving you free life lessons right now, and he's telling you, you better keep Jay happy. You need him. And frankly, if they let Jay walk, and will I say I'll stop watching LSU football? No. No. I will not. I will boycott everything LSU basketball. I will boycott it. Because if LSU basketball ends up being the linchpin to destroying the Jay Johnson era of LSU baseball, look at the difference between Jay Johnson's comments about not being offered a MLB job yet, and then the comments directed towards Kim Mulkey when they said she was retiring. Nobody in the comments of Kim Mulkey's retirement post said, do whatever you got to do to keep Kim. We said, no, that's garbage. That's garbage. The people who put that out are stupid. They're wrong. I get it. That's garbage. Jay Johnson, the whole fan base rallied. That should tell you everything you need to know about Jay Johnson and LSU baseball and the fan base in total. I made a post today and I tagged Heath Schroyer, and my buddy Zach said it wasn't his fault. And no, I agree. It's not Heath Schroyer's fault. 100% agree. It's not his fault. He can fix it, though. I know a lot of people still blame Scott Woodward for what he did with the funding. And yeah, Scott was bad. Scott's not here anymore. These are decisions being made in 2026. Scott was fired in 2025. You can't blame Scott anymore. You can't blame his board of supervisors for back then because they've all been replaced for the most part. Verge Osbury is still here. He's one of the remnants. And I like Verge. Don't get me wrong. I like Verge. I like the way, for instance, Jay Johnson talks about Verge. How when Verge became athletic director, it was the first time you saw an AD in his office saying, what do you need? I got you. Well, Verge, apparently you weren't listening. Because Jay's saying, I need money. Now, I believe in this fan base, and I believe that this fan base will do whatever it has to do to keep Jay happy. But it comes a point where a guy has to look at it and go, I had a friend of mine tell me last night when we were talking about the possibility of Jay leaving. We were talking about where he could go. And you're trying to war game the whole situation, right? All right, would he leave LSU for another college gig? Would he go to MLB? And I know there's a rumor about Texas A&M pulling Jay away. And I promise you, A&M would give Jay every dollar he wants, and then they would add a tip to it. Gratuity. This is my opinion on college. Say he left for A&M. I don't see that being very likely. I think he likes the relationship he's built with Skip Bertman. I think he likes the tradition here. He knows the fan base has him here where it's not as fleeting. Now, granted, you'll have the fans, I'll call them mouth breathers, who will not be the best fans in the world when it's not good, but you're going to have that anywhere. Here, he knows he has the stable fan base. He has one of the largest attending crowds in the country who are there at 1:17 a.m. May not have that at A&M. All right. But would the allure of more NIL or more revenue funding or more money in the program push him to that place? Possibly. My opinion on a Major League Baseball route. I think he's still watching the Tony Vitello experiment. And also, I believe Major League Baseball is watching the Tony Vitello experiment. It is very rare. It is very rare for a coach, especially a college coach, unless he had Major League experience behind him coaching, to go from a Division I college program, even though it's in the SEC, even though it's Tennessee, and he won a national title, to go straight to a Major League job. It is very rare. Usually it's a lot like playing. You go through the minor leagues. or you get on someone's staff. He went straight from a head coach of Tennessee Volunteers to the head coach or the manager of the San Francisco Giants. I believe Major League Baseball is watching this experiment. I believe Jay Johnson is watching this experiment. I personally, nothing against Tony Vitello. I don't think the experiment works. I think it implodes. That's my personal opinion. It's nothing against Tony as a person. I think his coaching style or philosophy he had at Tennessee will never work in Major League Baseball. I don't think he's using that same philosophy now to begin with. But like Jay said himself, he doesn't want somebody influencing his roster decisions. So that may be enough to push Jay away from Major League Baseball. What's something I didn't bring up to this person was, what if Arizona says, "Hey Jay, we want you back, and you started here, and you have the donor base here already, and we're willing to fund you what we can because we may be competitive in football, but we're not really looking to win a national title. Basketball, I'll be honest, I'm not educated on. I think they're good. We have the disposable funds to put towards baseball. Could that be a possibility? Now, that's me speculating. There's no information on that. That's me just spitting at the ear, right? So, but all in all, every time I thought about it, I was like, I think Jay stays. I think Jay stays. I think the fan base rallies and they support him and get him the funds he needs. He stays. But what he reminded me of that is so, so, so important to remember. Coaches have egos. Now, I think Jay is a very down to earth person, but he's still a coach. He's still going to have an ego. He's still going to want, when you tell him no, he's not going to like it. So this is my message to President Wade Roos, Urge Osbury, Keith Schroyer, Lee Mount, and the board of supervisors. Don't find out what Brian Kelly found out and Scott Wilbur found out. That when you make the fan base around here mad, buyouts get made quick. It behoove you to find what you need to find for Jay. Period. If you want this fan base to turn on every other program, aside from LSU football, which it's never gonna pull away from, unless you have Brian Kelly as the head coach. They still didn't pull away. If you want every fan base, if you want to have the entire LSU baseball fan base to just turn on your other programs, go ahead. Don't go a wall out to keep Jay Johnson. Go ahead. Go ahead. I don't think you'll have a position at LSU for much longer after that. I'm getting off my rant, getting off my soapbox. As I said, I love Jay Johnson. I think it's stupid we're having this conversation. But what are you going to do? All right. Going to do a quick break, pay some bills. When we come back, we'll go over LSU Tennessee, look at Bethune-Cookman, and talk about some of the things that need to be addressed with the LSU baseball team at the moment. Stay with us. In South Louisiana, there's nothing we love more than God, family, sports, and food. For your next get-together, make sure you contact Lemise Sourdough Bakery. Whether you're gathering with friends and family for the big game or surrounding yourself with loved ones for a Sunday dinner, let Lemise Sourdough Bakery provide what you need to make it that much more special. Lemise Sourdough Bakery is a small batch, all organic bakery right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go take a look at what's being mixed up in the kitchen next, as well as place your orders on Instagram at Lemise Sourdough Bakery. Don't forget to pick up your regular sourdough loaves, your jalapeno cheddar loaves, cookies for those late night snacks, and cinnamon rolls for those early morning cravings. Lemise Sourdough Bakery, where the first ingredients in anything made is love. Lemise Sourdough Bakery. All right. Welcome back. Make sure you go support the people who support us. Go support Lemme Sourdough Bakery. I know that the Instagram page is where I think it's called Hot Plate is at. Why do I keep doing that? So go there. I think they do bi-weekly drops, meaning every 2 weeks on Saturday. So and I say drop, I'm probably using that term wrong. So what you do is you go, you put in your order. I'm telling y'all the stuff's fire. And on Saturday you come pick it up. Or find another way to get it to you, as far as I know. But uh aside from that, let's talk about LSU and Tennessee. I we're gonna talk about yesterday. We're gonna talk about Easter Sunday. It was a I'll be honest with you, I wasn't able to really watch it. It was I was boiling crawfish at the time. Whenever the game was being played, I was more on the pot. So you know how that goes. So I was back and forth, back and forth. But I will say, I was able to sit down in the top of the ninth and start eating my own crawfish. So what does that tell you? Friday. Let's talk about Friday a little bit. So Friday went the way we wanted to go. It was it's the same way I framed it going into the weekend. It's a feast or famine team. It's the cardiac cats, right? One thing that I did that because I did chart both games. One thing I noticed that was different from Friday and Saturday versus Sunday. Milam was not in the leadoff spot. I personally do not want Milam at leadoff. I like Milam at leadoff. I think you have better guys for that leadoff spot. I honestly would like to see Curiel back at leadoff. That's just me. Stanfield was great. But I like Curiel there. So let's get into the bulk of the recap. So Friday, you won 7-5. And it's not going to be a comment anybody's going to really like me to say. But when I say you won that game Friday, you're kind of given that game Friday. Why do I say that? Well, you come into the top of the eighth and they walk the bases loaded. And they leave the guy in. You come off the first batter of the inning would be Mason Braun. Shout out Mason Braun. He was DHing for LSU this Friday. He had a great weekend when he got subbed in for York yesterday. Single to center. Braun is becoming a guy you cannot keep off the field. Now we're going to talk about Zach York in a little bit. I made some people upset with my comments last week. Looks like I wasn't wrong. I don't know. Anyways, so going up into the top of the eighth. Let's see. You had 3 hits going into the top of the eighth. One of them was the home run by Jake Brown, the solo shot by Jake. After the solo shot, so in the third, you'd have a line out by Milam, a home run by Brown, a strikeout by Cerner, and a fly out by Curiel. Not a momentum builder. Just puts you on the board, right? You would be tied up there in the bottom of the third by Tennessee. Going into the top of the eighth, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 10 strikeouts. 10 strikeouts and 3 hits and 1 walk. Walk by Braun in the top of the second. 3 hits, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk is not winning baseball. Tennessee, what can I say about Tennessee? So looking at the series, right? Vanderbilt, I believe, is a really good team. Somebody gave me gruff for saying they're going to be higher ranking than they are right now. I think they're going to be higher ranking than they are right now. I can't remember what they did this weekend. Forgive me. But Vanderbilt's going to be a good team. Kentucky's a really good team. I think they're going to be in the top 15 end of the season. Oklahoma, you're a better team then. I think Tennessee, you were a better team then. There's a lot of people kind of today. I'm not saying sunshine popping. I think they're in a good mood from the win, the series win, and the Easter Day win. That they're saying that you could have swept this team. Well, you can always sweep a team, but the way you played on Friday up to the eighth wasn't winning baseball. Tennessee played winning baseball. The starter Friday, Mac. Let me get to him real quick. I wasn't impressed with him, to be completely honest with you. If the broadcast team has to come out and say the problem with this top 45 or first round possible draft pick this year is that he can't get through the second time in the lineup, that's not a starter. He showed it. Now, he did turn it on. There was a part, I can't remember what part of the game that was in, but there was a part in the game where he had a little break and he kind of just locked in from there. That had to be in the fourth, I believe. So I wasn't impressed with him. You'd have Arvidsson, Rudy, and Day come in the later halves of the game. I didn't really chart Day's outing, to be completely honest with you, as far as his numbers. But Mac went 7 innings, 10 Ks, a walk, 3 hits, a run, and an earned run. And I don't think a lot of that was Mac. A lot of that was our offense. A lot of chasing, a lot of bad pitch recognition, and a lot of tough luck. A lot of hitting it right at people. The right fielder made a hell of a play on Mom's ball in the ninth, robbing that home run. I mean, good God, do we have the Angels in the outfield against us every time we step up to the plate or we play somebody in the box this year? It's I can't explain it. I don't know what happens. You have, Southern turning into Gold Glove outfielders whenever they come play us in Alice box. It is ridiculous. Let's get to the eighth. So you chase Mac after 7. You get Arvidsson coming in. He only lasts a third. Arvidsson would come in. He would face 4 batters, walk 3, and then Brown would line out to the shortstop. Off the bat on the TV copy, it looked like he just hammered that thing, but it just floated. That whole ballpark's weird. So after the 3 walks, have the bases loaded, you have Braun, Stanfield, and Milam on the bags. Brown would line out, starting with K. That's the problem with this team right now. Jay talks about having good at stringing together quality at bats. They can't do it. I don't know if Jay considers a walk a quality at bat. I'm guessing pitch count in the at bat would matter. But say you strung together those 3 quality at bats in the top of the 8th and you got the bases loaded. After that, you have to drive guys in. And I'm not talking down on Brown or Cerna. Brown is coming down to reality. I'm happy nobody's jumping on him with the realization that, hey, he was playing outside of his body in the beginning half of the season. Not a level of play he can't attain again. It's just those bursts are not frequent in baseball. Cerna's a freshman. He's going to have those at bats right there that he may just K up. He's a freshman. He's learning. He's got thrown into the fire with the struggles of BD behind the plate this year. And he's been hot. So I don't know if he was pressing. I don't remember that at bat totally off the top of my head. It was a 3-pitch at bat. 3-pitch K. So not a quality at bat. But thankfully, Curiel showed up. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. That bomb to left field by Curiel is not a bomb in Baton Rouge. It's not really a bomb in Lindsey Nelson Stadium either, but it's not a home run in Baton Rouge. But guess what? It doesn't matter because it's a home run there. He cleared the bases with the grand slam, and then Dardar will come up behind him doing what only thing Dardar does. Not the only thing Dardar does, but Yapa right behind him, back-to-back home runs, scoring 5 in the inning, and then that would put you up 6-4 at that point in the game. The inning would end on a fly out to the shortstop by John Pearson. So I love the competitive nature. I love the emotion of Derek Curiel in that moment. It was great. We talked about this last week, and it kind of showed its face again this weekend. This team needs to come out a little hotter to begin games because these cardiac cat moments, these late inning heroics being performed like on Friday and on Sunday can't. I mean, the one positive is Saturday going into the eighth. I thought, are they going to do it? I thought they could. That's the one positive thing about it. But I'd like to see this team kind of come out and with a little more energy to begin the games. We're halfway past the season. I believe the series win this weekend put us at even 500 in SEC play, 6-6, which is where you need, which is a good place to be right now. We have Ole Miss this weekend. Ole Miss can pitch it. Their Friday night guy, Elliott, is going to be a problem. And they can hit the ball a really, really long way. So it's granted, there's no SEC weekend that's going to be easier for our starting rotation. Does Cooper Moore get back into the fold this weekend? I haven't seen any injury updates on him. Zach Cowan. Guys, it's ridiculous. It's downright ridiculous what's going on with Zach Cowan at the moment. It is silly. Absolutely silly. I'm going to try to we're going to get to that in a moment. I want to pull up some stats here in a minute while we're sitting here just so I can get to Zach Cowan when I get to Zach Cowan. Finish off the game Friday. In the bottom of the eighth, where you got the momentum, you would have you would get two quick outs with Marin and Myatt, and this would have been Sheeran. Sheeran, by the way. Come on, Devin Sheeran. Atta baby. This would be Devin Sheeran coming in. You get two flyouts to left. He would give up a hit to Grinlinger. He would walk Clark, and then with K right at the top of the lineup to end the inning, keeping you with the lead at 6-4 going into the top of the ninth. And at the top of the ninth, a little more of the same. You'd have a fly out to center, a K. Stanfield, please stand up. The real Chris Stanfield is in town. He has doubled his home run total from last year. Cobra texted me because remember that bet me and Cobra had about him hitting over 2.5. He said, I'm in the over. Still got the hook, buddy. But I'm proud of Chris Stanfield. If Chris Stanfield hit in Tennessee year round or had his home games in Tennessee at Lindsey Nelson, he'd probably have 6 pumps. It'd be great to see. And then at the top of the ninth, Milan with K. So you'd put one more in, a little insurance run, 7-5 going into the bottom of the ninth. Sheeran would still be out on the bump. And KK, he would give up a bomb to Grimmer. Solo home runs won't kill you in baseball. But he would then K Chapman. A guy like Devin Sheeran, I like him in that two inning role. A lot of people were talking about putting Sheeran at the front of the rotation, get him a chance to start on the weekend. It's very similar to Gavin Guidry. I like Sheeran coming in with a little bit of attitude, a little bit of the pressure's on me. And he looked phenomenal. And what I liked about what I saw from him Friday night was in outings in the past, say for instance the Oklahoma series, it looked like Sheeran's emotions got to him and kind of drove him, yes, but controlled him. Against Tennessee, it didn't look like that. Against Tennessee, it looked phenomenal. It looked like he was very, very, very controlled, and he controlled his emotions and harnessed them and used them. So big shout out to Devin Sheeran. I was big on him coming back. I remember talking last year going into Omaha, going into the postseason. Devin Sheeran could possibly come back and throw for you. And I was really excited for it because that kid has all the potential in the world. And I can't remember if he's a sophomore or a junior. I hope we get another year with him. Let's just say that. I hope we get another year with him. So you start off the series 1-0. You have all the good feelings because you ended the game the way you did. Could the Tigers come out and finally put one to bed, win a series in 2, and let us all have a relaxing Easter Sunday. No, they couldn't. They would lose 4-1 on Saturday at Tennessee with Coons. Let's talk about Coons. Coons. So no, take that back. Let me rephrase this about Mac. Mac wasn't the guy who can't go through more than one rotation in the lineup. That is the that was Coons. So I apologize for saying that. Coons was a guy who can't go through the order more than once. I'll be completely honest. Wasn't impressed by Coons. I was impressed by Appenzeller. Appenzeller is a problem. I think Zach calls him Appletini. I don't care what you call him. He's a problem. Coons would come through the lineup. I'm happy to see the kid's okay. He had that ball glance off the back of his head. I think it looked a lot worse than it actually was. I'll be honest, I wasn't worried about him when I saw it happen. It didn't look like it caught him square just watching it. And when you've seen somebody take one to the head off of a bat, it's when it's bad. But start the game. I thought this team would have a better outing on Saturday from the way they started, because you come out in the first inning, you go 3 up, 3 down, but you put the bat on the ball. You had a line out to right. You had, which was another great play, and a deep at bat from Milam. It was a 7-pitch at bat. You'd have the ground out by Brown to second, and you'd have a ground out to short by Circle. So you're putting the ball in play. All right. And in the first inning, you had him go right to 15 pitches, 13 or 14 pitches in the first inning, which I charted this weekend because I really wanted to see first pitch strikes on Kaysen and Schmitty. And let me go back to that real quick for Kaysen and Schmitty real quick. So Kaysen on the day, I didn't catch the first inning. I'll be completely honest with you. Second inning on, Kaysen would have 1, 2, 3. I'm just straight up dead air. 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 first pitch strikes through, I think, 17 or 18 at bats. That's winning pitching. Anybody who said Kaysen Evans isn't your Friday guy, shove it. I don't care. Stop. Now, I'll be honest with you, Schmitty wasn't as effective on first pitch strikes. From what I saw, he was 14 of 26, a little bit over 500. Still not bad. I know David Billiot really cares about strike rate. If you're over that 60% threshold on strikes, which I believe Schmitty was at like 64%. I know Kaysen was over 60%. He cares about that. I look at first pitch strikes because the OPS number difference between a first pitch strike and a first pitch ball are astronomical. Astronomical. It changes the whole complexion of that bat when you go first pitch strike versus first pitch ball. So that's what I really look at. And Schmitty didn't have a bad outing. He went 5 2/3. I think the same amount that Kaysen went. Yeah, 5 2/3. Kaysen, and let's talk about Evans again real quick. Kaysen, everybody wanted to give him crap Friday night, and I wanted to absolutely lose my mind on everyone on social media. I kept myself calm. 5 2/3, 6 hits. He gave up 2 runs. No, 1 run. I apologize. 2 run earned. 6 Ks, 2 walks, 6 hits, and he scattered 6. And he held them to, at the time, 3 runs, with 2 of them unearned. Get off of Kaysen's back. Don't make me come for you. I don't have a big following. I will make it feel like I have an army behind me. Don't make me come after you for Kaysen. Slander. William Schmidt had a good outing. 5 2/3, 7 Ks, 3 walks, 2 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned, and he hit 1. That should win you a Saturday game. Even if you say he gave up all 4 runs, That should at least keep you in the game on a Saturday to be able to fight back in late innings. Now, I know we can talk about the error on Saturday. I know Yorkie had another error on Sunday. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Schmitty can't do anything about that because the balls that were errors weren't crazy plays. An error is not going to be called a crazy play, but you get my drift. Schmidt, I like in that Saturday role. I mean, if the world was perfect, we still have Cooper Moore on Saturday because I think Schmitty is just that much of a advantage to have on a third game of a series. But I like what I'm seeing. I don't see Schmitty moving out of that Saturday role the rest of the year. Even if Moore comes back, I think Moore slots into that Sunday role now. If they don't bring him out of the bullpen to kind of get him fresh and get him moving again, kind of work him back into a starting role, because Zach Cowan is making a push for that weekend rotation that I called. I know he started off slow, but nobody wanted to listen to me when I was saying I think Cowan's your Sunday guy. One day y'all gonna listen. All right, hitting. Like I said, I thought you started off hot. I thought you would start off in a way that it wasn't the same mundane 4 to 5 innings of just kind of like, grudging out at bats, barely getting any hard contact on the ball. They came out swinging the ball a lot better. After the first inning, going 3 up, 3 down, you start off the inning with 2 singles, and then you would have another single by Stanfield driving in Curiel. And then you would strand Pearson and Stanfield and Beatty at the plate on a fly ball by Milam to right field. You had the bases loaded again in the top half of the second, and you couldn't move it. And it wasn't a York, it wasn't a Pearson, it wasn't a Dardar, it was Milam. Milam's bat's getting hot, and it's going to remain hot. When Milam's bat gets cooking, buddy, get ready to eat because it's getting there. And it's good to see. Everyone knows, everybody was freaking out about Milam as bat. They were calling him different things. We're not going to get into that. Mom is a slow starter when it comes to the plate. It's coming around a little earlier than usual, which is pretty nice to see. It's once it gets hot, it's going to stay hot. And he switched that puck torpedo bat, which is interesting. I got to get my hands on one of those. I got to figure out what all the rage is about. But you only scratch cost 1 on the single by Stanfield, and you'd leave the bases loaded there. What can you do? After that, it was pretty tough sledding for the rest of the game. You would be held to 2 singles the rest of the game. 2 singles after the second, a walk, and let's count them up. 6 Ks. And Appenzeller came in the 5th. Appenzeller would walk Beatty to start his outing, and then nobody would get back on base. Hat tip to Appenzeller. You're watching Coons, you're watching Mack, you watched Arvidsson, who was one of their premier bullpen guys. Appenzeller is the best pitcher on that staff from what I saw this weekend. You got a hat tip to that guy. He just battled and kept you off your heels. All right? It's that simple. But you'd lose Saturday. And that loss kind of felt more detrimental than it should have. I think because it was a regression to the mean that we all were kind of hoping was past. But unfortunately, what did I say the other day? What did I compare this team to? Let me pull that up real quick. I apologize. Let me go pull this up so I can say what it was. Oh, yeah. Look, and you're not gonna like what I say this, but I want to be honest in what I'm saying and forthright. This team is a mirage of a good team right now, even after yesterday. Not saying they're not a good team. Don't put that in my mouth. I'm saying they're a mirage of a good team right now. Because you can look at them and you see all the talent in the world, but they're not playing to their ability until the seventh, eighth, or ninth innings. I don't, because I love this team and I hate saying that. I really do hate saying it, but they're right now they're a mirage of a good team. What else can you do? What else can you say about it? I mean, I did put out a post on X to see if anybody had any comments, questions, or concerns. Let's see if anything comes in. Kind of did it live, but Sunday would kind of prove to be more the same. Now, I did not chart Sunday's game. I apologize. It was my son's birthday and it was Easter. So, but I hope everybody enjoyed their Easter. I hope everybody exalted his name. He was risen. Um, Sunday, from what I can tell, from going back and forth to the pot, right? Let's just rip the band-aid off. Zach York. Now, Zach York's error would not have lost you that game. One error, I keep trying to say this every time it happens. One error does not win or lose you a game unless you're Buckner for the Red Sox, because you just had that one error in that one time. This was early in the game, early innings. You should be able to bounce back from that. Last week, I caught a lot of grief saying Zach York needed to step it up. I caught a lot of grief because they thought I was being hard on the kid. Oh, also, one quick thing before we get into this. I get it that you're upset with the defensive play by York. I get that you're upset by the bat not being there like you thought it would be. That doesn't give you a right to belittle the kid. Don't come in my comment section calling them names. Don't do it. Y'all have all those other comment sections and groups on X you can go on and you can put your words out. You can say what you want to say. Don't come in my section and do that. No, 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 no. No, not happening. Don't do it. I keep trying to tell y'all this. Lift these kids up. They see what you're saying. Just because they're not liking your post, they're not commenting on your post. I saw Steph Dardar in a live chat this morning on a show. They see what you're saying. I promise you, they don't like it. And they may put up a facade and say, hey, don't bother me. I'm whatever. I got this. It gets to them. So just stop doing it. It doesn't help anybody when you do that. If you want the kid to succeed, why attack him? So that's soapbox done. Don't come in my comment section and start doing that. No, 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 no. Not happening. But Monday, I did say that Zach York needed to step up his play. I did say that. And I mean it. And I meant it then. And at the time, I was saying, I'm not saying take Zach out of the lineup. I still at the time believed Zach could hit his way out of the funk at the plate. And I believed in his defense enough to where if he just learned how to compartmentalize those two sides, kind of like what Milam does, for instance, you have a guy who does it the best possibly in the nation at compartmentalizing his defense from his offense. At two separate sides of the ball. And Milam does it well because Milam didn't have an error until Sunday. If he had an error on that play, I can't remember exactly. But he had an error. He didn't have an error yet. If he didn't get the error on Sunday, he is errorless on the year. And he was not hitting the ball particularly well. Now, I think he was hitting the ball better than people would give him credit for. I think he was just catching bad luck, kind of like Seth Dardar. Like I told all of you for weeks, Dardar is just hitting it right at people. He's hitting it hard. If he catches a groove lower, a groove higher, things are different. Yeah. But now it's getting to a conversation where, okay, is Big Papa being overwhelmed with SEC baseball? Is he allowing the struggles at the plate translate to the field? I honestly believe Jay allows York to play first on Wednesday. on Tuesday. I apologize, against Bethune Cookman, who's a good team. They just beat Southern in a series. They're 22-10, I believe. They're very similar in a record to you. They're not going to be a pushover in midweek. They shouldn't be a hard team to play, but they're not a bad team. I think he allows York to play first on Tuesday and see what happens. But you have to now start talking about what you need to do in SEC play. Eddie Yaman comes in and, like my buddy Zach says, he gets on base. And it's in tough situations. Cerna gets hurt. I've not seen the injury report. I hope Cerna's doing okay. I know possibly having concussion and having to get on a plane is probably not the funnest thing to do in the world. But Yaman showed behind the plate that he's solid. No pass balls. No pass balls. I don't think they had a pass ball yesterday at all. And Yaman caught most of that game. Well, the vast majority of the game. He pinch hit York for Braun in the ninth, and what happens? Single. I think Yaman was 2 for 5 with a double and an RBI. Hell of a boy, Yaman. Hell of a game. Braun comes in, single, and then Patrick, and then I think we got a really good glimpse of what Jay may do with the defense after the ninth, moving Carraway to third and putting Pearson at first. Now, I know that Braden Simpson is out with a thumb injury, a broken thumb maybe. That was the first I heard about it was this weekend. Is it his throwing hand or his glove hand? Because that's what I'm wondering. I'd like to see Braden Simpson at first. I'm not trying to keep Eddie Yaman or Mason Braun out of the lineup. I just like Pearson at third a lot. I like the second to third defensive alignment you have right now with Dardar, Milam, and Pearson. You got a lot more ground balls being fielded and a lot more double play opportunities being made. I know Milam had an error. Milam had that one throwing error. Dardar, the broadcast tried to put it on Dardar as just a goof by Milam. Let it eat, kid. It's all right. You're going to be fine. I like that left side of the infield with Dardar at second. That's why I'm thinking I'd like to see Braden Simpson at first. Why do I say Braden Simpson at first? He played a lot of first in the spring and fall scrimmages, and he looked good doing it. Now, I think he was kind of learning that position a little bit more than I'd like for that time of the year, but if Cerna's healthy, I want Cerna at behind the plate. Beatty, look, B is a great catcher. He's going to be even better catcher in the future. Right now, for some reason, Beatty at DH is paying dividends, and I don't want Beatty to put on catcher's equipment again until that changes, or you have to. If you had to ask me behind the plate, if Cerna's out, I want Yaman. I want Yaman behind the plate. I want Beatty at DH. It's pretty simple. That's the way I would structure this because I like what Beatty is doing in the DH spot. I like what Yaman did Sunday in a tough situation to come in and be able to perform the way he did against Tennessee, which is they may not be the Tennessee of old, but they're still Tennessee. They're still got a lot of good ball players. That kid Henry Ford is a dog. All right. And they'll move on you. And they tried. All right. I'd like to keep things as simple as possible. A lot of people have been talking about having, if you can, Cerna, Beatty, Yaman in the lineup on the field at the same time, moving a guy from like say you put say we do it this way. Yaman behind the plate, Cerna at first, BDH. Say Yaman gets knocked out, you can move a guy from first to catcher and put Braun in at first or something like that. Braun, I've been beaten to my head, is a career outfielder in high school. Welcome to college ball. I don't think Mason Braun is slow, but I think he has the build for a first or third baseman. Could be wrong. If Curiel comes back next year, you got Curiel in center, Harden in left, possibly. and Michael Patrick and Wright. So that's where my head's at. But Yorkie, yeah, York needs to have a real deep conversation with himself this week. He needs to learn to compartmentalize the offense from the defense. He may not be able to fix the offense this year. He might be able to fix the offense right now. The SEC is not Grand Canyon University, but Jay Johnson also believed in him to bring him here. That tells me a lot. I believe the kid can figure out, but right now you're in such a dire place when it comes to SEC play and needing wins that maybe it's time to let Yorkie sit this one out and not let him hit it out. There's guys that, like me and Zach talked about, there's guys you can allow to hit it out, and there's guys that you can't. And right now, York is turning to that guy you can't. Mom's a guy you let hit it out. I think Dardar's a guy you let hit it out. Honestly, until the thumb, I thought Braden Simpson would be a guy you let hit it out. There are other guys on the team that I don't think you let hit it out. Now you can say, well, you said Beatty's not a guy you'd let hit it out. I did say that, and I do believe that. Beatty sat. And then what happens? He sets a school record, a first for LSU, which if you're doing something that's a first for LSU baseball, because the program is so historic, LSU athletic department, you're doing something that's historic and it's good, it's pretty crazy. He's the first person to ever hit 4 home runs in a game. Now, I'll be honest, by the time I was able to actually sit down and truly watch the game how I want to watch the game, my first thought when the 4th one went out was, all right, did he hit for the cycle home runs? Then they said he had 3 solos, which, okay, still pretty awesome. I'm not putting down on it at all. 3 solos and a granny. Come on now. It's pretty awesome. Shout out to Aaron Beatty. I still would like to see him at DH. I don't know. I've never seen Beatty play first. I don't remember seeing him at first in scrimmages. So I saw Yaman, Simpson, York, and Braun at first in scrimmages. So I think Cerna was there one time, but we saw Cerna at first. I'm not high on Cerna at first. I like Cerna behind the plate. That's how I feel. All in all, still a series win. It's an Easter Day win, which is better for us. Sucks for Tennessee. You're 6-6 in the SEC. You have Bethune-Cookman coming in. It's going to be a test in a midweek. It's not going to be an easy just rollover win. I don't think we have many more rollover wins in midweeks. Jay likes to schedule these guys that are going to help RPI come to the end of the year. He has talked about changing that philosophy, but yeah. So what am I trying to say? The next 18 SEC games are important. You're at 6, and I've told y'all it's a road to 18. Well, now it really, to me, I'd like to see road to 15. So you need 9, right? You got 6 series left. You need 9 wins. Take 1 of every weekend and win 3 series. Now you have a gauntlet coming up. You have Ole Miss this weekend, which we've talked about. They can hit the ball really, really long way, and a couple of their guys can really pitch it. You have Georgia at Georgia. That's going to be a problem. You have A&M coming to town. You have Florida coming to town. And you got Mississippi State at Duby Noble. Duby Noble, however you want to say it. You got a nice little piece ahead of you. And you have South Carolina coming to town, who's playing better baseball now without Paul Mainieri. Would you imagine that? I didn't say that either. It doesn't get easier from here. Go look at what Georgia just did in Mississippi State. Now, I've also not been completely high on Mississippi State because I'm first-year head coach, but Georgia's still mashing. They're probably, if you had to ask me right now, gun to head, who's the best team in the country right now, it's Georgia. My opinion alone. I doubt nobody's asking me for my thoughts on a top 25. Can LSU get to 15? That's will be the question going out the rest of the year. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Tomorrow night, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't care if they win any midweek games the rest of the year. I don't care. Midweek games matter. Yes, they do. I want them to win it. I care more about the weekend series right now because those are the games that truly, truly influence everything. If you had a better LSU team on the weekend right now, I would say, okay, yeah, let's win the midweek. Let's tune up. But right now, I don't care. Do whatever you got to do to get to the weekend series healthy and ready, and that's it, in my opinion. Can they get to 15? They need 9. It's up to them. Starts Friday against Ole Miss in Oxford. I think the game is at 6 p.m. Before I let you go, I forgot to do this earlier. Before I let you go, if you're still here, right here is the contact information where you can find them on social media, where you can email them, and where you can call them. By the way, this is not private information I'm giving out. This is all, I found this all in 30 seconds with Google on the LSU directory. And then they have their X accounts public anyway. I'm not giving up on this fight for Jay Johnson. It's that simple. This right here is how you can contact the president of LSU, the athletic director, Heath Schroyer, and Lee Mallett, who's the board of supervisors director or the head supervisor, whatever his title is. That's how you contact them. Go flood their mentions with "Don't be stupid about Jay Johnson." Right? Go flood it. It's that simple. Let them know the decision they're making is wrong. Go just fill them in. The loss of Jay Johnson. I made the joke that I'd let Lane Kiffin walk for Johnson for Jay. I'm kind of kidding when I say that, but I just love LSU baseball that much, to be completely honest. Losing Jay Johnson would be the downfall of LSU baseball for the foreseeable future. You have the best coach in the country. Remember how much we talked about having the Mount Rushmore coaches at LSU? Lane Kiffin, Jay Johnson, Kim Mulkey, Will Wade. He's the only one with multiple national titles. Kim Mulkey has a national title. No one else does. Go let these people know the decision they're making is wrong. That simple. It's that simple. But I'm going to let that go. Enjoy the Bethune-Cookman game. Do y'all want to give away another Jesus One shirt? We haven't had anybody win one yet. Who am I going to pick? How about if Seth Dardar hits a bomb against Bethune-Cookman, Jesus, and you comment Dardar on the pick to click, you get a Jesus One shirt. Okay? We'll do that. No, yeah. Seth Dardar. That's what we do. I'm not changing it. I hope all of you have a great Monday. I hope all of you have a great Tuesday up to the game. Get ready for pick to click. Hug your kids, hug your wife, tell them you love them. This life's a lot shorter than you think sometimes. Remember that God loves you, and all He wants you to do is love Him back. I love you. Uplift these guys. Go remind them who Jay Johnson is. And go Tigers. Let's walk.